Suicide Guy: The Lost Dreams is another chapter of crazy dreams you'll need to find a way to escape from. It was developed by Fabio Ferrara and published by Chubby Pixel back in 2019. Every single level is unique, in every way, but the solution is always the same, as you'd expect if you're a returning player to the franchise. I, however, am not. Just to make that clear, this is my first and the only Suicide Guy game I've ever played, so sit back and enjoy a first-timer's review of Suicide Guy: The Lost Dreams. The first thing I would like to touch on is the tutorial. You wake up, to a mysterious, almost tomb-looking environment. All the statues and sculptures look exactly like your character, so my first impression wasn't exactly on the bright side. Meaning, I was under the impression that we already weren't in the land of the living. Moving on though, the tutorial does exactly what it needs to. It shows us the basic controls and functions of the game, and then it spits us out in a lab to start the actual journey. Speaking of the lab, this is the central hub type area, where you can view a preview type station of each level and its associated collectible once it has been found. I wasn't really the biggest fan of this area to begin with, mainly because it's just really big. In order to enter each level, you have to go to that specific station. It was especially annoying on the last few levels. Having to walk across the entire lab to get to each level was pretty annoying. Now yes, level select does exist, but if you're not trying to break immersion, you may as well forget about that. I didn't want to talk about any of the levels specifically to avoid spoilers, but in the end I did decide I would talk about one level of my choosing. This level right here. I don't know what it's called. Pillowland, maybe? Anyway, this level was so rage-inducing with those stupid little red teddy bears that I literally stopped playing it multiple times because of it. If you're wondering what specifically made me mad, well, just watch this clip. I'm sure you can see my frustration, but if not, it's okay. The next thing that caught my eye was the way the audio worked throughout the game. Each level has one or more of these little red radios, and you guessed it, they control the game music. Each level has its own specific sounds and tunes, but every single one can be turned off once you find the level's corresponding radios. This is more of a personal preference, but I really like that slight touch for the players that prefer a quieter playthrough like myself. The gameplay was fun, almost all of the time. Each level had different ways of getting the same result, and they were all set in separate environment types. Every single level had some form of challenge to it, and only a couple of the solutions were obvious. Not that that was a bad thing though. The more obvious solutions had a lot more dynamic ways of getting to them, which definitely made up for that. I will say that it could use some refining, especially on the pillow level I mentioned earlier, as well as the speed of the coaster on one of the last levels. That's about all I have to complain about when it comes to mechanical problems though. I would, however, now like to mention something that I really love the look of. The pillow level, once you make it to the top of the tower, is absolutely beautiful. I mean, just take a look. Overall, although it was very infuriating at times, I had fun with this game. Something about all the different environments kept me coming back to explore, especially the bonus levels, which I have not beaten yet. I'm going to, they are just pretty difficult, so it's taken me a bit longer. Anyway, I really did enjoy this game. It had a great balance of difficulty when it comes to the levels. Some were extremely puzzling, while others had an obvious answer straight from the start. I hope you guys decide to pick it up on Steam or Nintendo Switch, and I could be wrong here, but I do believe it's also on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. That's all for today, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and for more news, reviews, or whatever we choose, stay tuned to Nerdsfeed.